Hey Jay,
Hey, Natalie.
how are you doing?
We don't really record podcasts or anything later in the day now. We're together. So it's so nice to see you on screen.
Oh, it's nice to see you as well. Also, to see your blurred background. I don't know if you feel like you need to put up a newspaper to let me know that you're okay and in a safe place.
I am okay. And I am here to learn tonight because we have a training session. We are here to learn, which I'm really excited about.
You know what? I am too. And I'm going to tell you, I got to experience this last week. And so
Really?
I am so excited that we have Yvette LeFlore with us to
Mhm.
talk about Reiki and to answer all of our questions. But before we get started, I think
I'm going to tell
people
you.
need to know exactly who she is.
So we have with us, as Natalie said, Yvette LeFlore, and she is, get ready, guys, an intuitive energy healer and Reiki master teacher. I'm also learning to speak today, Yvette. So thank you for joining us. So Yvette was on the podcast. She was on episode 129, and she shared her caregiving story at the time with Walter. And Walter was a man who not only understood and worked with energy, but also he supported her in building her business. What we heard about in her podcast was about Reiki and energy healing. And Natalie, we wanted to learn more because it sounds so beneficial to caregivers and really to anyone.
Yeah.
So, Yvette, we've got you here and we want to talk about Reiki and how it can benefit everyone out there.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Well, and
Oh,
we've put
go ahead.
together questions.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it's so basically we're like Baba Walters. So we are ready. Are you ready are you ready, Babs?
I'm ready. I wanted to be Barbara. Okay. Okay. So let's talk. Here's my question. I want you to start by sharing just a little bit about your journey with energy healing and what led you to do this work. And why are you talking about it tonight? What got you
Oh,
here?
all right. So, probably well over 10 years ago, I was receiving energy healing. And if you listen to the podcast, I believe we talked about how I decided
Mhm.
to study Reiki. And what I found was it just gave me such peace and calm in my life on a regular basis. And that was why I continued to receive it. I decided to learn it, eventually decided to teach it. And tonight I'm here because the receiving energy healing Reiki was so beneficial to me personally
Mhm.
as I walked alongside my husband with his cancer journey, and also for him as the person who had cancer. So, and it's I think that caregivers often forget because they get so muddled in all there is to do for their loved one, they forget about themselves. And so I'm here because I want to remind caregivers that got to fill your cup. You've
Mm.
got to fill your cup.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I honestly would totally agree with that. And I can relate to that because I think about when we were in New York and I didn't have anybody else there that I knew really. My friend Susan lived there, but she lived in Hoboken. And so she would come and visit us, but I didn't know anybody. And so, of course, I made friends with all 8 million people who lived in the city. But even with that many people around you, you can feel very lonely. And after having experienced Reiki with you, it was it was really about being with myself and feeling comfortable in that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm going to tell you, I wish that I had known about that modality because I think that could have been very helpful for me and a really calming effect.
Absolutely. And it would have.
Yeah. So tell me, so describe what energy healing is in like normal people terms, is what I call it, for those who may be unfamiliar with like Natalie terms with the term.
The good news is I only speak in normal people terms because that's the
Awesome.
only language I know. So we're all made of energy.
Mhm.
And as an energy healer, intuitive, Reiki master, all of those, titles, what I'm doing is connecting with divine source and bringing energy through to the person that I'm working with. So we're all made of energy. However, or I should say, and we all live a life. So life things happen, and have a tendency to clamp up that energy. So if you think about, let's just think about a water hose for a moment, and you've got water running through that hose at a regular rate, and all of a sudden it kinks. And we've all done that. Like we've all had that kinked hose, and then we're dragging at it, right? To try and unkink that hose. And that doesn't work. What you have to do is go back to that kink and just kind of like undo it to allow the water to flow again. And that's what we do with energy healing is instead of trying to pressure the energy in our bodies to move and flow, we unkink the energy so that it can flow more naturally. And in our systems, when we allow the energy to flow, our bodies do what they need to do naturally. But when we clamp up, kink up, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, the energy can't flow. And so with Reiki, with energy healing, we're able to release and help things flow.
Mhm.
Is that the normal language? Does that work?
It feels too normal to me.
She brought up water hoses, and I was all over it. I was like,
You
I
had me
totally
at water hose,
understand.
'cause
I
I'm
totally
telling
got the
you,
water hose.
I have been kinked up before. And so you're really thinking about how do you get I really kind of think of it being like unsettled and not
Yes.
being sure not sure what the source of where
Yes.
you're unsettled comes from, but something doesn't feel right. And how do you get back to that homeostasis, that good place where you feel centered
Yeah.
and relaxed and in a good place?
Yeah. And I want to say that as caregivers, we're often not even aware that we're not in homeostasis, that our parasympathetic system is not relaxed because we've just gotten tense so gradually that we're just not aware of it. It's like there's the story about the frog in the hot water that doesn't even know it's in hot water because the temperature just continues to rise a little bit at a
Mhm.
time. I think that that's what happens for the stress of a caregiver.
Mm. It's true because you said parasympathetic, and I was like, oh, you're speaking my vagus nerve language. Because for people who don't know about the sympathetic and parasympathetic, it's connected to vagus nerve, and it's really your fight, flight, or freeze. And that's a good way to kind of think of it because I'd never really heard of those two terms, but I knew what fight, flight, or freeze is. And so that's what, when we're feeling like, whoa, we're scared and there's a tiger. And so it's really about getting back to that. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because you're exactly right. As a caregiver, sometimes you don't realize your shoulders are at your ears and you've been having them there all day. And we're like, oh, I need to pull them back down. Mm.
So I had a kink earlier in the week. So I'm so glad that we're talking actually today. So I wasn't so much the water hose, I'll just throw that out. I was like a pretzel. So I think maybe that was my best example. So there it is. So my question is, how can energy healing help caregivers specifically? If I'm a pretzel, if I'm that kink, what's
Mhm.
the focus for caregivers? What can they do?
When you take some time in an average session, a one-on-one session is an hour long. When
Mhm.
you take that time to just nurture yourself and calm your system, what it enables you to do is go back into your everyday life, having breathed and just brought yourself back down to center. And so when we are in that caregiving mode, and Natalie had mentioned, like our shoulders are up to our ears, we're not, we don't, I did not, I'm going to speak from the I because I cannot
Mhm.
speak for all caregivers. When that was happening to me, I was not always able to be loving, right? And say things without snapping,
Mhm.
or I was putting my husband before myself all the time. And with the energy healing and taking your time to receive, you're able to put yourself first and distance yourself from what's going on in life so that you can look at things a little bit more clearly. And I felt I know the benefit for me as a caregiver, and I know that it helps others as well. Because I see I may not all of my clients may not be in a situation like I was, but they're caring for children, coworkers. There's caregiving on all different levels. And when
Right.
fill your cup, I'm going to continue to use that language because I talk about it a whole lot. When you fill your cup, then you're able energetically to give to others as well.
Mm, that is
And,
true.
Natalie, I think this is a really good time for you to share your experience.
Mm. So last Friday, I'm going to share. Last Friday, I was scheduled to come in because I said, "Hey, I think this is really important. I want to try it out and I want to get this experience because I've never done it before." And so I think I've told people this before. I run pretty hot, and when I say run pretty hot, I'm high octane, and I'm running. I'm always thinking, and I'm thinking about all the things I need to do. And I've always known I've run hot, but when I came in, I was pretty I was fast, and I think that's how I always am. And I realized the moment that I got on the table, because you described it to me like this is what to expect. This, you may experience this, you may experience this, you may not at all. Some things that and I'll share things with you at the end. This is what I feel. And the moment I laid down, it was just like, whoa. And I had no expectations. And then when we got started, because it's similar, you're laying on a massage table, like that's what I always call it. And you're on the massage table kind of feel, but you're just laying there. And for me, especially for somebody really on the go and you've got so many things going on in your head, and this is a normal caregiver, you're thinking about all the tasks and things you've got to do. It forces you to slow down. You focus in on your breathing, and then it's amazing what your mind then allows you to go to. And I did not think in the whole time that I was with you, I was not thinking about all the things I needed to do.
Mhm.
I actually slowed down enough. And really, for me, I use that time to have a conversation with God and with myself. And I found it very eye opening, very relaxing. And when we were done, I remember saying to you, is our time up already? Because I thought we had just started. And um, I'm going to tell you, this is something that you really should consider doing. Some people may feel like, well, that's woo woo. That feels weird. And the answer is it's not. But if you're open, just be open to the idea of it and see what happens. I think it's worth a try. I think it's always worth a try. And you may respond to that because people respond to interventions differently. I can tell you right now, it's 100% something I'll go back and do again. It was very therapeutic. And as a social worker and somebody who does all kinds of interventions with children and families, this is an intervention I absolutely would endorse. And so, and just, I think having someone like Yvette, or if you're not in our area to be able to have access to her, looking for a master Reiki instructor, I think that's something that's very important. And I know you also do things online. So that was the other thing that I wasn't expecting was like our virtual options. Cause I'm like, really? And so I know we're going to talk about it at the end, but sneak peek, you're doing a virtual group next week for everybody to try. And I'm like, sign me up. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, and sneak peek. You don't need someone in your area. You can do one-on-one sessions distance. So
Oh,
I do,
there you go.
I want people to know that because people live in all different areas and,
Yeah.
how do you find someone? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Okay.
you got questions for me, ladies.
I know, right? So I'm here. Okay. So, okay. Beyond the caregivers themselves, how can energy healing benefit the loved one that they are caring for as well?
So again, I'll go back to my experience with Walter. And then I've also worked with other cancer patients and Parkinson's. Cancer and Parkinson's are the two, I don't even know what term I want to use. The la, 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 la. People that I've worked with have had either cancer or Parkinson's.
Mhm.
Sorry. Talk about not being able to talk in a
No,
normal language.
they're health
Yeah,
conditions.
good.
Those the primary
Conditions.
health conditions that you've
There you
worked
go.
with?
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And what I in this in all the situations, their bodies were, I'm going to say, jacked up, whether it was from the illness or the medications, but and not calm at all. And so what the energy healing did is it allowed their systems to calm down. Again, when your system calms down, it can do what it needs to do naturally. And for Walter, I used the energy healing to help him sleep and relax and nap. Like I would sit at the end of the bed and just put my hands on his feet, and he would just go into a nap as I was sending healing. And, whether it's in person or distance, that napping was very beneficial.
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a nervous Nelly, Yvette. We've discussed that before. But when I'm going into a new place or trying something new, I like to have a heads up. What am I going to expect? I'm like, okay, I signed up for Reiki or I'm signed up for a virtual session. What should I expect when I go for one of these sessions?
So if you're working with me, what you will expect, it's about an hour long, a little bit longer for a first time because we go through everything to expect, right? But there's about 10 minutes or so on an average session, about 10 minutes of conversation where I'm saying, what is it that you want to work on? And, sometimes people will say, I don't know. And I lead some guiding questions to check in with the body, see where things are tense or tight or, what's going on in life. And then for 40 minutes, if you're in person, you're on the massage table. If you're distance, you're sitting in a chair, laying in your bed, on your couch, wherever you are, and listening to music, lighting your candles, just relaxing, closing your eyes, receiving. And, and I give information on how to quiet the monkey mind so that you can be able to receive. And then at the end of that 40 minutes, I gently let you know that it's time to come back. And we talk about how the experience was for you. And in one-on-one sessions, I have the opportunity to share if there were any messages that I received or if there was anything that I noted when I was working with your energy system.
Mhm. I will say the other really big bonus was the chocolate at the end.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you right now, that's exactly right. And the little black ones are the dark chocolate. I'm going to tell you, and this maybe it's psychosomatic, but um, the taste of that chocolate was so vibrant. It was rich. It was like all your taste buds were on fire. Like it was like, wow, this is the best chocolate I ever had. And you know how I reacted because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like made me as happy as my sunflowers in the backyard. And then I had my water and it was just I really think that it was because of the experience I'd had that everything was amplified.
yeah. And the chocolate helps bring you back into your body because, with the energy healing, you can often expand so much. It just helps you bring you back in so that you could drive home safely.
Well, I drove home happy. I
Very
can
good.
tell you that
Very
I
good.
did. So, if someone wanted to experience energy healing for the first time, how would you recommend that they start?
Well, first, I would say to those who are listening to our conversation today that you connect with what we're going to offer you at the end
Yeah.
so that you can experience a group healing and you see, what it's like. But I recommend whether it's with me or with someone in your area that you connect and have a conversation with the Reiki clinician, practitioner, master. There's everybody has different titles. Um, so that you can see whether their energy feels good. And you may not understand, you may be like, I don't know what that energy feels like. Check in with your gut. Your gut says, yeah, mm, not liking this person too much. Then that is not someone you want to connect and allow into your energy field. So if you are interested in working with me, you can set up a discovery call. You can talk with me, ask all of your questions, see whether I'm a match. And I'll tell you that if you say to me, Yvette, I'm not really sure if we're a match. Do you know of anybody else? I am not going to be offended because I have lots of other people that I can refer you to. And any energy healer worth their salt should be willing to refer you to somebody else if you're not a match for them.
I remember when we first met, I feel like we were dating. We first met and we met at Sweet Donkey in Roanoke. So FYI, we loved them.
Yes.
And then we had a chocolate chip cookie.
I was going to say we shared a chocolate chip
We
cookie.
shared a cookie. And so, but we talked for well over 2 hours. And you're exactly right about the connection. You either feel it or you don't. And it's totally true. So I definitely encourage, I want to reinforce that. I definitely encourage that.
All right. So this is the present I think that we're offering. Yvette is offering. So you're offering a 20-minute complimentary group healing session. So share why you chose to offer this and what participants can expect from it.
I froze. So you're asking me to share why I chose to offer the 20-minute session?
Why did you choose to do it and what can we expect from it?
So I chose to do it because I know how much the energy healing made a difference for me and my journey, whether it was in the moment, whether it was dealing with the grief, the anticipatory grief. And still to this day, it's little over 8 months since my husband passed away. And I just know the benefits of it. And I also know that not everybody wants to jump right into a one-on-one. So I wanted to offer this group opportunity. Now, with a group opportunity, you're not going to get a message from me that I might receive because it's for the collective. But what you can expect during our time together is first, we'll connect on Zoom and I'll give everybody just a couple minutes to get in because I will tell you that I like to start on time. And once we start, I can no longer let people into the Zoom room. So you definitely want to be on time. And for about 20 minutes, you're going to sit in your chair, on your couch, on your bed, wherever you are, play some music, relax, and allow me to send you energy. And you may not experience anything, but you may. You may see colors. You may feel tingles. You may fall asleep. And Reiki naps are the best. So I would love if you fell asleep. Like people are like, isn't that, do you find that offensive? No, I love when people fall asleep. And then I will quietly come back on screen and I'll say, we're done. And then you'll come back. And if time permits, I will answer any questions people have. But it's meant to be 20 minutes of you filling your cup, of you serving yourself because you have been serving others for so long. And to get a taste of what it's like it's a spoonful of what it's like to receive energy healing. And you also get the opportunity to get to know me better, to see whether I'm someone you want to connect with further.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. And I'm excited and grateful that you're choosing to do that because I can't wait to participate in it because then I'm like, ooh, prepared to grasp. So very excited for that.
And I am, I feel so honored to be able to give back because I know when I was on my journey as a caregiver, when people were so selfless and gave to me, it just meant so much. So to the honor to be able to give to others truly is an honor.
I love that. Thank you for that. So is there a way, this is my last question.
Okay.
Is there a way for caregivers to continue exploring energy healing with you beyond the group session?
Yeah. People can go to my Healing with Yvette website, and I'm Healing with Yvette everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube. I don't post anything on LinkedIn, but I'm there. But healingwithyvette.com, you can connect with me. And I recommend that you schedule a discovery call so I can answer any questions you may have beyond what you've heard here today. And we can schedule if you are out of the Roanoke, Virginia, Salem area, we can schedule a distance session. We can schedule the discovery call where you can get to know me a little bit better and talk a little bit more. So you can work one-on-one in person or distance. In person, you get that chocolate that Natalie talked about, you know?
Telling you right now, it's worth the in-person, people. I'm going to tell you though, I am going to have some chocolate right beside me for the end of our group session next week.
Great idea.
I am totally going to do that. I'm trying to decide, is it going to be 70% or 90% dark chocolate? That's all I'm going to say. So JJ and I were apparently in sync because we literally put at the same time your website on there. So it's Healing with Yvette, HealingWyVette.com. And that way you can go to her website. You can also find her on all of her social media. And what is it, Jay, that you have shared?
Well, I have shared, this is the sign up for this session on Thursday, May the 22nd at 7 p.m. And this is the complimentary healing session. So if you want to get in on all of this that Natalie has experienced and all of this piece that I'm hearing that Yvette is telling us about, because I need to calm down my pretzel zone. She is offering, I know, my pretzel zone is what we're going to call it. She is offering that. So you can look at the QR code. I've also put the link over in the chat if you want to go directly there. But definitely sign up for this. If you're listening to this and it is past May 22nd, 2025, you can definitely track Yvette down. We put Healing with Yvette is on our in the chat as well. She's easy to find.
I'm going to tell you right now, I literally just did it, Jay. I just did it, and it was just my first name and my email. And it's like, you're in, girl, and I am totally in. So I'm very excited about this. It's that easy. And so we are going to be continue promoting this. We honestly, Yvette, we love you. This is fantastic. You're definitely not going to want to miss this group healing opportunity. But again, this is in our world, this is evergreen. So this will be on our YouTube channel. And so if you're listening to this, it's after May 22nd. Make sure you go to the website and you can connect with Yvette there. Again, healingwithyvette.com. Yvette, thank you so much for being with us. Yvette, one more thing. Oh, I see.
I do have one more thing. I want to let people know that when you sign up, I will not add you to my newsletter list.
Oh.
Unless you request it. There will be emails, you'll get an email after the session that says, hey, would you like to join my newsletter?
I did.
Because I hate when people sign me up for newsletters when I have not asked for it. So I want to assure you that that's not part of this.
All right. Well, I would have checked the box had it been available. So I am already a raging fan. And so I am a huge fan, and I cannot wait for next Thursday. We're going to have such a wonderful time, and it's going to be magic. Yvette, thank you for coming on and offering this educational session. And I can't wait for everybody else to get to hear it and learn more about it. And for those of you who participated and listen to this as well in the future, thank you. And Jay, until we confess again.
We'll see you next time.
Exactly. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.